Hello everyone, welcome to Achievers IAS classes. Let's begin our discussion on the current events of 19th April 2018. The first issue news is regarding the recommendation of the Law Commission to declare the Board of Control for Cricket, that is the BCCI, as a public body. It also wanted the board as well as its member cricket associations to be brought under the ambit of the Right to Information Act, as the Law Commission opined that currently there was an environment of opacity, and non-accountability of the board for its actions. Further, the monopolistic activities of the board, where the BCCI exercised state-like powers in the regulation of cricket, thereby virtually acting as a national sports federation. In this regard, the Commission recommended that the Sports Ministry website should explicitly mention BCCI in the list of national sports federations so that it is automatically brought under the purview of the RTI Act. This is because the cricket board as an entity was permitted de facto by the state to represent the country at the international stage, where the selected players wore the national colors and were recipients of the highest sport honors like the Arjuna Awards. The ICC too recognized BCCI as the official body representing India, and neither the government nor the BCCI have ever challenged or discussed the status of the cricket entity. We are already aware how the IPL spot fixing controversy made the Supreme Court to constitute the Lodha Committee, which suggested various reforms to bring in transparency in the BCCI, some of which are already implemented, but some of the reforms are yet to be initiated to bring in greater transparency in the functioning of BCCI. With that, let's move on to the next issue, which is an editorial regarding the recent reports of cash shortages in various states like Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Madhya Pradesh, where ATMs have run dry, thereby bringing back into focus the government's decision to scrap the currency notes of 500 and 1000 rupees denomination in 2016. The Finance Ministry has termed the shortage as a manifestation of an unusual spurt in currency demand, and the RBI too has clarified that there is enough cash, and it has also ramped up the printing of all notes in order to meet the cash demand. Further, it has blamed the shortages on logistical issues of replenishing the ATMs, which will be addressed in the coming days. There could be several factors at play which has resulted in the current cash crunch, like the upcoming elections in states like Karnataka and the impending Lok Sabha elections in 2019, which could have resulted in a cash management exercise among the political parties. There could be depositor fears about the impending financial resolution and deposit insurance bill that makes it possible to use the savings of the investors in the bank to bail out stressed banks and financial institutions. But the main reason is, however, the slow pace of remonetization of the economy post the note ban, because the lower denomination notes were the ones which were in less supply. And as we know, the government's decision to introduce the 2000 rupees note post the demonetization was less efficient due to want of lower denomination notes, and has now become a preferred mode of holding capital. Adding to all these issues, recalibration of the ATMs to dispense the 200 rupee note is still underway, as a consequence of which the after effects of demonetization still continue to haunt us. With that, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the relaxation of the coastal regulation zone norms proposed by the central government. The new norms have made the coastal areas more accessible to tourism and industrial infrastructure, and have given individual states a considerable leeway to decide how they should plan any such development in these coastal areas. Some of the changes proposed include allowing of ecotourism activities such as mangrove walks, tree huts in identified stretches subject to permissions, where the coastal zone rules of 2011 declared CRZ1, which is the most ecologically sensitive area, as a no development zone except for defense and strategic purposes. Further, the new rules introduce subdivision within the CRZ zones and has limited the application of CRZ rules to a land area between the high tide line and 50 meters on the landward side of creeks, estuaries, backwaters, and rivers, while the coastal zone rules of 2011 applied to a land area between high tide line and 100 meters on the landward side. Environmentalists say that the new regulations have been framed without a transparent public consultation process because the report of the Sailesh Nayak committee, which was set up to reconsider the limits of the existing coastal zone regulations, was initially not made public by the Environment Ministry. With that, let's move on to the next issue, which is regarding the setting up of a national portal called iSTEM, through which any college or institution and research organizations can have easy access to expensive research equipment and facilities anywhere in India. The center is in the process of collating information about the scientific and research equipment and facilities available at academic institutions and research organizations across the country, which could be accessed by researchers for both academic as well as non-academic work through an online reservation system. With that, I wrap up today's news analysis. Do share this content if you like it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.